7 levels of gaming difficulty. I haven't heard about this.
Ever since the origin of gaming, one of its core selling points has always been its difficulty. The difficulty of a game really sets the mood of the game and can influence
Wait, that's Geometry Dash. We know that.
whether you play the game or not. In this video, I'll be going over each level of gaming difficulty and giving you recommendations of each game in each category. So stay along to see each recommendation. Level 1, No True Difficulty. These are the games that practically play themselves. Enemies will do barely any damage, checkpoints are everywhere, and if you somehow manage to die, the game usually puts you right back where you left off.
I would say like idle games.
Sometimes
Like
you'll
Cookie Clicker.
get even unlimited lives, aim assist, or enough healing items to survive almost anything. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. Easy difficulties exist for a reason. Maybe you're completely new to gaming, maybe you're just here for the story, or maybe you don't want to spend hours fighting the same boss. These games usually create more cinematic experience for the viewer to enjoy. So most games
Yeah, it's like an interactive movie. Yeah, Heavy Rain's a classic. Y'all, if you've never played Heavy Rain, check it out. I loved Heavy Rain back when I was, oh my God, I was a youth when that came out. My whole life is flying by. Wow, we're all just dust in the wind at the end of the day. Awesome game, by the way.
you'll find in this category are story mode / interactive movie games. Some games I can think in this category are games like Mixtape, Stardew Valley, and Animal Crossing. What game I chose to represent this category and recommend to play is Firewatch. Firewatch is a relaxing...
Dude, Firewatch is good. I wish I had done... Wait, I think I did play this on stream. I think this is one of the only games I played on stream back when I first started streaming back in like 2021.
Story-driven adventure game where you can play as Henry, a fire lookout. The game more focuses on exploration, dialogue, and emotional
That's Lost Media Chat. The VOD
rather
isn't
than
saved.
difficult combat or challenging mechanics. It represents level 1 good because it's a simple, accessible experience that allows any player to enjoy the atmosphere. Sure, people might joke that these games are impossible to lose. But for people playing these games, this is exactly what they're looking for, a relaxing experience. Don't get too comfortable though, because things at level 2 finally start fighting back.
That was me.
Level 2, Casual. This difficulty, the games finally start expecting something from you, but they still want you to have a good time. Unlike level 1, enemies actually fight back, mistakes can happen, and you might have to think about your decisions. This difficulty developers usually balance their game around because it gives the player a challenge without becoming too frustrating. Casual mode is where most players experience a game
like tic-tac-toe
for the first time.
Or rock, paper, scissors.
Focus on world, story, and fun mechanics without constantly worrying about getting destroyed by every enemy. Some games I can think in this category are Lego games, Pokemon games, and Portal 2.
I was basically right because Pokemon is like Nintendo Animal Tic-Tac-Toe. Or not Tic-Tac-Toe, rock, paper, scissors. Sorry, 3 word combinations are hard. Red, yellow, blue, circle, triangle, square, etc.
What I chose out as the standout and recommendation is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is an open...
Is Breath of the Wild a freaking casual game? That game's kind of hard sometimes, no?
...world adventure game where you can play as Link, exploring the kingdom of Hyrule while fighting enemies, solving puzzles, and uncovering its...
This is like Dark Souls Jr.
history. It represents level 2 because it's easy for new players to pick up while still offering enough exploration, combat, and mechanics to keep the player engaged. For many gamers, this is the perfect middle ground. Not to say that victory feels meaningless, but not so hard that every mistake feels like you want to quit. However, the next level is where things start getting serious. Level 3.
We're already serious at 3.
At this level, winning isn't guaranteed anymore. Enemies...
Dude, this stock video in this video is just so funny.
Hit harder, mistakes become more noticeable, and you actually have to pay attention.
I'm sorry, are we saying that Breath of the Wild is level 2 and Minecraft is level 3? Okay.
...into the game mechanics. You can't just run into every fight expecting to survive. You need to learn patterns, manage your resources, and make smarter decisions. The game gives a real sense of accomplishment because victories don't just happen. When you finally beat a boss or complete a tough section, it feels rewarding because you know you improved. To name some games, I'll say games like Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, God of War, and the Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah, these are kind of like Soulslike.
Game I chose as my recommendation.
Like not quite a Souls game, but like the lighter version of it.
And to represent this category is Minecraft. Minecraft doesn't need any further introduction. While the game is very easy to understand,
I feel like Minecraft is a bad game to use an example for a video like this because in Minecraft, the disparity in difficulty is so great. Like you can be a casual, peaceful player, or if you're doing hardcore, then yeah, that's some sweat shit. All the way up to like if you're RSG speedrunning, like that's like, I feel like Minecraft is a bad game to use for a barometer of difficulty.
the survival mode actually requires some skill if you want to see any success.
Sub 15's not easy, bro. You didn't listen to any of the words that just came out of my mouth.
It represents this level perfectly because it starts simple but gradually rewards skill, creativity, and knowledge as the player takes on harder goals, like the Ender Dragon. Unlike easier difficulties, challenging mode requires you to understand how the game works. It's not just a couple tries and you'll eventually get it. You actually need to start planning your boss fights. This is where most people find their love for harder games. Level 4, Punishing. Up until now, maybe you lose a little progress in how to retry at a checkpoint, but here, every decision matters. One wrong move, one missed dodge, or one wasted resource can cost you everything. These games demand patience. They expect you to learn from every death instead of just simply trying again. If you rush into a fight without a plan,
Ultra Kill's
chances
awesome,
are
bro.
you'll be staring at the game over screen. Resources become scarce, enemies hit much harder, save points are fewer and farther between, forcing you to survive longer stretches without the safety of a checkpoint. Some games you can find in this category are games like Ultra Kill, Hollow Knight, and most competitive shooter games. And what I chose to represent this category in my recommendation is Terraria. Terraria is a 2D
This is such an eclectic list of games. I feel like this is just games that this guy has played. No hate.
sandbox adventure game where players explore, build, craft,
Am I crazy?
and battle increasingly difficult enemies and bosses. As the game progresses, survival depends on preparation, strategy, and mastering its combat. I chose it for this category because how harsh the game can be on you when you're not ready. This level is where gaming becomes frustrating. For others, this is where it becomes addicting.
Does this video just get motion because he's gonna glaze Geometry Dash difficulty? Is that what happened? Bro summoned the entire GD community. I'm glad you specified that Geometry Dash's extreme demons are the highest level. How fast I clicked when I saw GD at level 7. Another video glazing Geometry Dash difficulty? Count me in. Okay, this makes a lot more sense now.
Because once you overcome a challenge that was difficult, it's hard to look back at the easier ones. Level 5, Soulslike.
Okay, now we're
I
at
gave
Souls.
this genre of games its own level solely based off its reputation. If you ever played a Souls-like game, you already know what's coming. You're gonna die over and over again. These games aren't trying to make you angry, they're trying to make you learn. Every death teaches you something. Maybe you dodged too late, or maybe you got greedy, you went for an extra hit, or maybe you walked into a fight completely unprepared. The more you play, the more you start to recognize enemies' attacks, learning boss patterns, and improving little by little. Before long, the boss that seemed impossible suddenly becomes manageable, and that's what makes these games so satisfying. Some games in these categories are Dark Souls, of course, Ghost of Tsushima, and Sifu. What I chose as the recommendation and standout is Elden Ring. Elden Ring is an open-world action RPG where players explore the dangerous lands between, fighting challenging enemies, powerful bosses, while creating their own playstyle. The game rewards patience, learning enemy patterns, and improving through repeated attempts, instead of simply overpowering the enemy. Beating a Souls-like boss isn't just another checkpoint, it's proof that you've actually gotten better at the game. For a lot of players, this is the perfect level of difficulty. Hard enough to keep you on your toes, but fair enough that every death feels like it was your own fault. If you made it this far into the video, if you can drop a like and subscribe, it would be greatly appreciated. Anyways, let's get back into the next level. Level 6, Brutal. At this point, the game's selling points are how hard they are. These games, losing isn't surprising at all, it's expected. Unlike other levels,
But Souls games selling points are how hard they are.
you can spend
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to poke holes in this video. It's just like, Fair. I probably just need to give grace here. This video is just like for fun, whatever.
Hours practicing.
It's not like he was like, these are the definitive 7 levels of gaming. Like he's just kind of talking, which is fine. I just kind of talk. I literally stream almost every day and I just kind of talk about stuff. So other people are like to just kind of talk about stuff too. It's not that deep.
Learning every single mechanics and still get destroyed by some small mistake or something you weren't expecting. A single missed input, a bad decision, or one moment of hesitation can completely ruin your progress. Really games push your skill.
But I'm sorry, that was his same talking point for level 5 and maybe level 4.
Patience, and dedication to the absolute limit. They demand near perfect execution and expect you to master the mechanics that most players would not even notice. Some games you can find in this category are
calling Souls games the perfect difficulty for most feels like trolling. This video does feel a little troll, bro.
Over The Binding of Isaac and Celeste. And what I chose as the standout game in this category is Cuphead. Cuphead is a run-and-gun platformer inspired by 1930s cartoons, where players battle creative bosses with fast-paced combat and challenging patterns.
I mean, I'm a Cuphead speedrunner, so I appreciate the glaze, but I still, like, I'm just a little lost by, like, I think it's a fully based feels list, which is fine, but it's just, again, I've talked about this before in other videos where we talk about comparing the difficulty of different games. It just short circuits my brain every time.
The game requires,
like, if the whole deal is like, oh man, this is very punishing. Cuphead is a very mechanically difficult game, but in terms of punishment, it's like if you die, you have to redo the level. It's not as punishing as something, for example, like a Souls game, where like if you misallocate points or like you you lose your souls, it can completely hinder your progress. I would say that like Cuphead is not as punishing of a game. So if like for these past like 3 levels, he's been talking about like a game's difficulty is based on how much it's punishing the player. This is why this doesn't make sense to me.
There's precise timing, memorization, and constant practice, because even small mistakes can lead to failures. But even at this reaching point, there's still games that go beyond what most players thought was possible. Level 7.
Geometry Dash!
Impossible/player-made levels. This is the point where games stop feeling difficult and they almost start feeling unreal. These are challenges that only a tiny percentage of the players will even be able to complete. They require an insane amount of practice, perfect timing, and sometimes even years.
I like that he brings up, because I think this is something that GD players overglaze. I do think that this category of having it like any game that has custom-made levels, any game where there is custom-made levels by the creator base of people who play and consume the game, there is going to be like an almost infinite upper limit approaching whatever the human limit is of difficulty. It's not something unique to Geometry Dash, but it is something inherent in these games like Mario Maker, like Celeste, which oddly is not here. But, you know, anything where like the player base can basically so like infinitely create new levels as the players get better at the game is going to be in this category. So I appreciate that he obviously put that at the forefront of this section.
Years of dedication. At this level, failure isn't measured in a few attempts or even a few hours. Players can spend up to hundreds or even thousands of hours on a single run. Most of these impossible challenges come from player-made levels. Examples of things defined in this category are crazy Mario Maker levels, no-hit challenges, and world record speedrun attempts. My standout thing for this category...
I mean, that's fair too. Like, if you're talking about speedrunning specifically... Yeah, like, because I was a speedrunner before I was a GD player, and I think that GD is very similar to kind of the quote-unquote gameplay loop of being a speedrunner, learning a category and improving upon a category. You have to develop consistency the same way. You have to work on nerve control. It's actually probably like the closest thing. So I actually think that's pretty interesting, and he's like putting just speedrunning as a concept at this upper level. I think I'd agree with that.
Or though is Geometry Dash,
because you can always refine a run up until like you're basically at like Taz, and like no human's ever going to be like Taz.
Extreme Demons. Geometry Dash Extreme Demons are some of the hardest user-created levels in the game, requiring near-perfect timing, memorization, and thousands of attempts to complete. These levels push players to master incredible precise jumps, reactions,
that was me, by the way,
and patterns, where even a single mistake means starting over to 0%. They represent level 7 because
Is that bloodbath?
Only a small number of players can conquer the hardest challenges. What makes these games impressive is that they push the limit of what
what's that
players
level
thought
called?
was possible. They create communities dedicated
Geometry
to finding
Dash.
strategies, improving techniques, and proving that even the hardest challenges can be conquered. But for every person who completes one of these challenges, there's thousands who will never even be able to make it past the first step. The goal is to become one of the few people that can.
I thought the video
That
ended.
concludes all the levels. If you enjoyed this video, once again drop a like and subscribe. It would greatly help the channel out. Also give any recommendations for any other type of content you would like to see. Thanks for watching and have a great day.
Yeah, I think that was a fun video. I appreciate you guys suggesting it. I do think at the end of the day, the reason why it got motion was foreseeably because of GD glaze. GD players, when a YouTube video glazes how hard their game is, will instantly give that video motion because there's no person quite like the GD player who needs the validation of others around them in order to feel good about themselves. So React, that was awesome. Thanks for suggesting that. I'm glad he gave the flowers to the other games and didn't just say it's GD. I think he's just speaking from his experience. And I think clearly like he knows about GD, so that's why he used GD as the main example here. But I appreciate again that he said any levels with custom levels. But yeah, anyway, React guys, join the Discord in the description. Go to the React to this Teej channel. Drop a freaking video that you want me to react to. File react to others that people suggest. That is a good way to upvote them. That is how I know which ones I should react to. Do that. And in the meantime, take care of yourselves. Good night, good noon, wherever you are. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Did you like that? Don't even pretend like you didn't. You made it that far in the video. Well, did you know that I stream Monday through Friday on Twitch and YouTube, and you could catch me live and get to be a part of the experience when it happens? Also, if you don't care about that, or otherwise you want to see more of the video that you just watched, link in the description to watch the full VOD. Do that, please. I have a black eye because I play basketball sometimes. Bye.